Hi, welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about the phrase progress over perfection, because I feel like we're hearing it a lot more often these days, and that's because I feel like typically in the past, artists or creatives would have a hard time or struggled with putting out their work because they didn't feel it was perfect enough. But I think we're at a place right now where people are more open and a little bit more okay with being vulnerable so that they can just share their work and in turn complete it, and that would help you grow. So I've had a video that I've been working on for about 3 months now, and I've just struggled to put it out and complete it. And the video was basically an idea that I had to use a screen or a monitor of any sort to use as a backdrop for a production, just like they do with the volume on a lot of Marvel and Disney productions, just like they do with the Batman when they use the cityscape. And when I watched that movie, it inspired me to try to do something similar. But you see, the biggest issue that I was having was that when it came time to shoot the sequence that I had in mind, the test shots just didn't look like how I saw them in my head. And they weren't perfect enough. So I just struggled with the idea of putting out something that just didn't look good to me. But what I realized is that if I finish this, the best thing that will happen is that I will learn something from it and therefore grow and get better for my next productions. And then that did happen. I learned how I could light it and make it still look good, even though the test shots weren't that good. I learned which focal lengths are going to work best against which screens and which screens to even use. So in the end, I think that finishing something will always benefit you more than holding on to it and trying to make it perfect. Because as we know, nothing in life is often perfect. So hopefully you enjoy watching this video and are able to maybe give me some feedback or constructive criticism on what I could have done differently, what I could have done better, or if you liked it just in general. So have a watch. I am gonna tag on a little BTS right at the end of the sequence, of the main sequence, because I wasn't really sure where that would fit in the overall video. Thank you in advance for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe if that's what you're into. And as always, live passionately and stay inspired. Enjoy. So anytime it starts to get really cold outside, it becomes a lot harder to shoot content. So creators start to resort to shooting on set. And since the weather has dropped quite a bit here in Berlin, I thought it would be fun to recreate something that has become quite popular with filmmaking. And so we have to go out and find some props in order to do that. Over the last several years, a lot of movies and TV shows are utilizing the volume, which is what they use on The Mandalorian, a lot of Marvel movies, so many other movies. And it gives sort of the actors, in this case, or the director, a sense of what it's actually going to look like rather than just being a blank green or blue screen. So we thought it'd be fun to try to go out and do that. Now, one of the really great things about this city is that there is a large amount of secondhand and thrift stores. And there's this one particular thrift store that I've been eyeing up for a very long time. I think it's gonna have what we need. It's really quirky and eclectic. First location that I was so excited about it, which you saw was super cool, was a fail because the owner
doesn't sell any of his toys.
No.
He's been collecting them for over 30 years, and that's just his private collection from all over the world.
Yeah.
Even though there was definitely some relics in there that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But now we have to go to another spot that we've seen before, so hopefully we can find a toy there that will work for what we're trying to accomplish. So we found what we were looking for. It took a little while because, as you can see, that store was
Wow.
a lot.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Honestly, all the vintage stores here are
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do this experiment, it's you need a lot of patience.
Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted to do it was I didn't want to buy a new toy to do this. I wanted a bit of a retro feel and vibe, and I think we accomplished that because now we have the goods, and I'm gonna go home and try to create what I have in my head, and let's hope it turns out really cool.
Years of nights have turned me into a nocturnal animal. Hidden in the chaos, watching. But they don't know where I am. We have a signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them. Fear is a tool. They think I'm hiding in the shadows. But I am the shadows.
Oh, hello.
Talking fish.
Okay, so this is our little setup for the virtual backdrop. I'm just going to be using my MateView monitor. What's really great about this monitor is that it is a matte finish, so it helps with the reflections quite a bit. It gives you a bit, the background will look a little bit more real to life because it's not glossy, so that's really helpful. It can't get all the way down to the table, so I had to use a little bit of a riser, but what's cool is this box is actually glossy, so it'll give you that nice reflection as if the ground is wet, which is really cool. And obviously you've seen that these are our two main characters, Batman himself and Hal Jordan. I'm using a Aputure P60C to light them with a grid to try to contain the light from spilling, so you get just light overhead. You want to get it right above them. I'm going with this sort of this blue tone to give a bit of that dark kind of nighttime Gotham vibe. And that's pretty much it. The one important thing is I was using the 2470, which is, let me just grab that really quick. It is just back here, the 24-70, because you definitely want to shoot with a focal length that is 35 at the widest, and then 50 or 70 is even better, because then you'll get a lot of that background compression and it'll look like the city is nice and big, and these figurines will look big in the scene. So if you shoot with a wide angle lens, they're gonna look tiny and you're gonna be able to really see the background, and especially because it's a small monitor. But if you're using a big TV, then maybe you could get away with a little bit wider. But that's pretty much it. I used an Aputure MC to give a little bit of supplemental lighting to them, to give some of that warm. I was trying to go for a bit more of like the Batman look, where they had a lot of like golden tones, and that was the movie that sort of inspired me to try this, because they were using a virtual background, especially the scene with him and Catwoman. The whole cityscape was, I believe, done in Unreal, and the background was like moving, which is really cool. Again, didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, but always good to experiment and learn for the future. So hope you enjoyed this little quick behind the scenes at the very end of the video, but we'll see you in the next one. Bye.